Hello and welcome to today's matchup between the Immanuel Lutheran Lancers and the Augusta Beavers C-Team volleyball game. Lancers will start off with the serve here tonight. It'll be number 13, Shabrel for the Lancers. Quick lineup check, and we are ready to begin. Good spot to the back, sliding save, gonna try to tip back over, ends up sending it off into the net. That was off the hands of Nelson as the Lancers start off with a 1-0 lead. Tipped high at the net, sent back up center, let's be tapped over. Running save from Nelson, tipped up, no one else there to get it, didn't quite get it high enough or far away enough from her. As the Lancers drop the serve, and this one goes tied at 1. With number 9, Nelson, now back to serve for the Beavers. That one out of play down the sideline, giving it right back to the Lancers, who retake a 1-point lead, 2-1. And now Kern back to serve for the Lancers. Off into the net. Lancers will drop one right back and give it back to the Beavers. This one ties back up at 2. It'll be Smith in for Wolf, and back to serve for the Beavers will be Brown. To the back, received high by Nelson. Sent back up, and Pfeiffer will send it over. Bumped right back lane side quickly. Tip back high, Shabrel will send one back up center for Pfeiffer again. Good touch over the net, sliding save back close to the net. Sent it right back, diving save and under the net. Off the hands of Kern. Longest volley of the night goes to the Beavers as they take a 1-point lead, 3-2. And it'll be Brown who will continue to serve for the Beavers. First lead of the night for them, trying now to extend it to the back line. Out of play. Called early by the line judge in before it even hit the ground. Just forgot what signal she meant to use. Is indeed out, and it'll be Schmid back to serve for the Lancers after Roth enters in for Nelson. Sends one high, but not quite far enough. As it goes back to the Beavers as they retake a 1-point lead, 4-3. And Nelson enters back in for Schmid. Not back in. Enters in for the first time for Schmid. Spot down line. Colonel send one high off the ceiling. Miscommunication. Still going to get up in the air and over the net. But off the ceiling. That was off the hands of Miller. As the Lancers go down now by 2, 5-3. Running save from Pfeiffer, back over the net. Running save with the Beavers back over the net. Sent right back by Miller, back over the net once again by the Beavers. As this one will be poked at the net. Now they're going to set one up. Going to get over on the second hit. Up for Roth. She'll pump it to the middle. Sent over a second hit once again. Sliding save from Kern back in the air once again. But no one there to get it as the Beavers take advantage and now go up by 3, 6-3. And it'll be Reese continuing to serve. Dug up by Kern. And Miller misread it. Couldn't redirect in time as it ended up dropping down to the floor for an ace for the Beavers. Puts them up by 4 now, 7-3. Only going to go out of play down the sideline. Lancers break the run, bring themselves back within 3, 7-4. And it'll be Pfeiffer back to serve for the Lancers. Dug up on the back, sent up into play, and going to be bumped over. And misread it at the back up at the last second. Ended up just sending it high. That was off the hands of Nelson. As the Beavers go right back up by 4, 8-4. With Hansen entering in for Smith. Pierre. And Williams in for Pfeiffer on the Lancer side. And it'll be Hansen now back to serve. Into the net, going to give it back to the Lancers. They bring it once again within 3, 8-5. And they'll send number 9, Miller, back to serve. Receive tie down the line, running saving one back up in the air. Long way to go. Gonna get it over without touching the ceiling. Miller sends one back high off the ceiling and out of play. As the Beavers go up now by 4, 9-5. And Wolf Leonard back in for Smith. The back received by Miller, sent back high by Roth, and bumped over by Shabrel. Back across far side to the back corner, sent back high. To the back, running save, gonna get over, that's Nelson. Back up, and this time she'll just bump it over, sliding save from Miller in the back. Nelson sets one back for Roth, she'll bump it up and over. Sends one back up close to the net, and he'll tap it once again. A running save by Nelson off the ceiling. Sent over by Kern, and Shabrel can't quite redirect it over as she had to change direction quickly. With the Lancers now going down by 5, 10-5, with the Beavers hitting double digits. And it'll be Wolf back to serve once again for the Beavers. Sliding save in the back, right back to the Lancer side, but a lift off the hands of Childers. As the Lancers bring it now back within 4, 10-6. Nelson will enter in, along with Schmid for Roth and Nelson. And number 3, Nelson will head back to serve. One's going to bounce under the net. Gives it right back to the Beavers, who go right back up by 5, 11-6. Sends one high to the back. Tipped off the hands of Miller, out of play. As the Beavers knock down another ace. And double up the Lancers now, 12-6. Save from Shabrel back over the net. Set up center, and she'll just bump it over. Diving save from Nelson, can't get underneath it. And the Beavers now up by 7, 13-6. High to the back, received by Miller. Sent across for Schmid over the net. Good spot from Schmid. Dropping it down in front of Childers. As the Lancers bring it back within 6, 13-7, with Pfeiffer running in for Williams and Shabrel heading back to serve. Off into the net, going to give it back to the Beavers as they go up once again now by 7, 14-7. Pierre will enter in for Hansen. And it'll be Nelson back to serve. Out of the back. Going to send it right back over is Miller. As that one went back into the net off of an attempted quick return by Brown. As the Lancers bring it now within 6. Look at the serve back. And it'll be Kern back to do it. Spot running save, going to send one high. Back up close to the net, and he'll bump it over. Received high by Nelson. Set up center for Pfeiffer. Good spot. Running save out of play. Nelson's bringing it now within 5, 14-9. Curran going to send that one into the net. And the Beavers go back up by 6, 15-9. Sliding save from Nelson, going to get through her hands as the Beavers drop down another ace. Brings themselves back up by 7, 16-9. The back corner, received high by Kern. Back up for Kern, didn't go for it, so Schmidt had to try to take over and couldn't get underneath it in time. As the Beavers now go up by 8, 17-9. Brown once again. Sliding save from Kern out of play, and another ace for the Beavers. Putting them up by 9, 18-9. Out of the back, Miller runs over to get it. Close to next, going to be touched over. Sent right back by the Beavers. Kern there to get it. Going to set one up for Schmidt on the run and into the net. And now a 10-point lead for the Beavers, 19-9. Deep to the back. Kern sends one high off the ceiling. One-handed save trying to be sent over, and does by Miller. Up and out of play. Miller getting it done on a quick spike, puts the Lancers up by, or brings the Lancers back within 9, 19-10, as Roth enters in for Nelson. And Schmidt heads back to serve for the Lancers. Into that. Gives it right back to the Beavers as they go up by 10, 20-10. And Nelson in quickly for Schmidt. Serve, dropping it down into the hands of a diving Lancer. Puts the Lancers down by 11 now, 21-10. She's tied by Pfeiffer. Shaver on the run, going to send it across for Roth. Close to the ceiling but won't touch. Sends immediately back. And off the hands of Nelson to the floor. Putting the Lancers down 12, 22-10, and a timeout by the Lancers here in the first set, down by 12. Back from the timeout, 22-10, Lancers down by 12 here in the first set. Beavers just 3 points away from taking the first set, with Reese still back to serve. Off the net, and gets over the hands of Shabrel. As the Beavers knock down another ace, putting themselves up by 13, 23-10. The back, Kern retreating Off our hands, not a play for back-to-back aces now for the Beavers. And they're now just 1 point away, up by 14, 24-10. Deep to the back, Pfeiffer sends one high. Sent back across, long way to go for Pfeiffer to the back line, sent back high. Gonna set one up center to the back line, out of play, untouched by the Lancers, as they will get it back within 13, 24-11. And they'll need 13 straight to keep this one going, as that one went out the back door. And it'll be Pfeiffer back to serve for the Lancers. Into the net, and that will do it. 25-11. Lancers drop the first set by 14. And we'll be back for the second set in about 3 minutes. And we are back for the second set. Beavers taking the first one by 14, 25-11. And they'll start off serving here with number 9, Nelson, back to do it. Running save by Miller. Close to that. Can't be poked over by Pfeiffer, as the Beavers go up early by 1-0. Received high in the back by Nelson, sent up by Shavrell. And it'll be Curran who will just bump it over. Saved and set across close to the net. Gonna roll back to the Beaver side, and that'll be 4 hits. Regardless, that does not make it over, as the Lancers tie it up now at 1. Shavrell to the back, lunging save. And set one across far side. Saved by Miller, back to the Beaver side. Bumped up, falling away to get it, still gonna get it over. Shavrell back up, and Pfeiffer had to got turned around. Couldn't make it to it in time as she was coming over to help. Puts the Beavers up by 1, 2-1. Williams will enter in for Shavrell, along with Smith entering in for Wolf. And it'll be Brown back to serve for the Beavers. the back line. Miller sends one across, sent back high by Williams, and Kern will send it into the net. Beavers take a 2-point lead, 3-1. To the back corner, off the shoulder of Nelson, sent back high by Miller on the run. Schmidt off the net, and the Beavers go now by 3. High to the back, received by Pfeiffer. Williams will send one across for Pfeiffer, and beautiful spot. Dropping it down onto the line. As the Lancers bring it back now within 2, 4-2. Turning back to serve for the Lancers, into the net. Gives it right back to the Beavers, up by 3. As Seabit enters in for Kern. And it'll be Reese back to serve for the Beavers. Into the net, gonna give it back to the Lancers as they bring it within 2, 5-3. Rothlener in for Nelson, and it'll be Schmid back to serve. High to the back, running save, gonna tip one back up and over. Saved and bumped back on the run is Pfeiffer over the net. Good spot from Pfeiffer. Putting the Lancers within 1, 5-4. Off the hands of Schmid, tipped once. And that would have been 4 hits, untouched by the Beavers out of play. As the Lancers tied up now at 5. And it'll be Schmid back with a chance to take the lead. That one gonna come up short. Puts the Beavers back up by 1, 6-5. As Pierre will enter in for Nelson. And Hansen will go back to serve for the Beavers. Into the net, send it back to the Lancers. Game tied back up at 6. Schaeber back in for Williams. And it'll be Pfeiffer back to serve for the Lancers. To the back line, gonna drop one down. Lancers get the ace and they go up by 1, 7-6. That one goes to the side out of play. Ties the game back up at 7 as the Beavers will have a chance to get the lead back on the serve. Wolf in for Smith, and it'll be Wolf back to serve for the Beavers. The back line running save by Seabit out of play. An ace for the Beavers, puts them up by 1, 8-7. Hinging save, gonna get it back to the Beavers side. Tip back over and gonna drop one down in front of Seabit. As the Beavers go up by 2, 9-7. And People can let that one go. Ends up dropping out onto the back line for another Beaver ace. Putting them up by 3, 10-7. So back, received high. Pfeiffer will tip one back up. And miscommunication in the back by Shabril and Siebert. As that one drops down, putting the Beavers up now by 4. That one will come up short, giving it back to the Lancers within 3, 11-8. Kern back in with now Miller back to serve for the Lancers. Down the line, running save. Back up into play, but no one there to get it. As a couple of Beavers collide. Putting the Lancers back within 2. Good spot. 2 Beavers dive to get it. Sends it under the net. As an ace for Miller. Puts them now within 1, 11-10. Good spot again. Running saving us and right back to the Lancers side. Pfeiffer across for Kern. Good spot. Sliding save out of play. And the Lancers now tied up at 11. And Miller back to serve. Once again, looking for a lead off the net. Running save, going to get it back up. Miscommunication. Ends up sending a line drive back into the face of Wolf. As the Lancers go up by 1 once again, 11-12. Down the line, out of play, off the foul pole. As this game ties up at 12. And the Beavers will try to retake a lead. As it'll be Childers now back to serve. Off the back, received high by Miller. Set across for Kern, fading away. Dug up in the back and has set one all the way across. It'll just be bumped over to the hands of Shabril. Pfeiffer up center for Shabril once again. Going to be bumped back across by the Beavers quickly. Sent back for Pfeiffer off the net. Lunging save. Sets one back center, and I'll bump it to the back corner. Pfeiffer steps back. Miller on a dive, can't get there in time as that one drops down onto the sideline. Putting the Beavers back up by 1, 13-12. High to the back, drops down onto the sideline. Perfect spot as the Beavers go up by 2 off another ace. Received high by Miller. Pfeiffer will just tap it over. Receiving the back, sent up close to the net. Can't get there in time as the Lancers bring it back within 1, 14-13. Nelson and Schmidt in for Roth and Nelson. And it'll be Nelson back to serve. Under the net. Gives it back to the Beavers. They go back up by 2, 15-13. With Nelson entering in for Pierre. And Nelson heading back to serve for the Beavers. Miller sends one high in the middle, running save off the net, tipped back up, but can't make it over off the hands of Pfeiffer. As the Beavers go up by 3, 16-13. Down the line, running safe from Miller, going to get it back over, tipped off the net and can't be saved. As the Lancers now within 2, 16-14. Shabrell back to serve to the back line, tip tie. Bumped across and back into the net. Brings the Lancers now within 1, 16-15. That one heads out of play, going to give it back to the Beavers as they hold on to a 2-point lead, 17-15. Williams back in for Shabrell, along with Smith for Wolf. And it'll be Brown back to serve for the Beavers. To the back line, Miller will send one high. Williams sends one back for Kearns over the net. Bump back up center to the back line, tipped out by Miller. Kearns sends one back center, and it'll be Schmidt who'll touch it over. Tipped on the back pedal, out of play. That was Hansen. As the Lancers bring it back within 1, 17-16. And it's Kearns back to serve once again. That one comes up short. As the Lancers go back down by 2, 18-16, with Siebert entering in for Kern and Reese heading back to serve for the Beavers. The back line sent high by Nelson off the ceiling. Williams right there to get it. Sent back over by Pfeiffer, good spot. Dug up, can't send one back on the run is Nelson. As the Lancers once again bring it back within 1, 18-17, with Roth entering in for Nelson. And Schmid heading back to serve with a chance to tie. Receive tie center. Bumps one and on the run, just going to bump it over. Pfeiffer back across for Williams. She'll tap one to the back. Set up left side, bumped up high, close to the net. Pfeiffer going to send one right back. Good spot, diving save back into the net. Can't be saved off the net by diving Nelson. As the Lancers tie it up now at 18. And Schmid now with a chance to give him a lead. Lofts one up high and into the net. As the Beavers hold on to a 1-point lead, 19-18. With Nelson entering in for Schmid and Pierre in for Nelson. And Hansen back to serve for the Beavers. Back and offensive Siebert out of play as the Beaver Ace puts them into the 20s, up by 2. Down the line, out of play. Gives it back to the Lancers within 1, 20-19. Shaber will enter in for Williams. And it'll be Pfeiffer back to serve. Receive tie center. Set back up center to the back line, out of play. As the Lancers now tied up at 20. And now Pfeiffer a chance to give him a lead. To the back line, sent close to the net. Set across left side and misses on her way up. The Lancers take a 1-point lead late, 21-20. Trying to pull away and force a winner take all third set. As Pfeiffer sends one to the back. Ring save, going to tap it back over. Regardless, Lancers in the net as that one ended up dropping down onto the sideline. Ties up the game at 21 as Wolf enters in for Smith. And it'll be Wolf who will head back to serve for the Beavers. Miscommunication, a couple of Lancers ran for it. No one ended up going down to get it. As a Beaver ace puts them up by 1, 22-21, as Curran enters in for Siebert. And Wolf heads back to serve once again. The back line, offensive Curran out of play. Another ace for the Beavers, puts them up by 2. Back to serve, and that'll go into the net, 23-22. As the Lancers bring it back within 1, and Miller heads back to serve with a chance to tie. Good spot, running safe. Gonna bump one back, and taps one over. Curran gonna get it back in the air. Sent awry by Miller out of play. And the Beavers go up by 2, 24-22, just 1 point away from taking the second set. And Billy Childers back to serve it for the win. The back running saved by Miller. Pfeiffer going to send one up center for Shabril. To the back corner and dropping it down onto the line. Keeps the Lancers alive as they're going to need just 1 to keep this one going into extra points. Back to do it will be Roth. Good spot, and she'll drop down an ace off the hands of a sliding Wolf, and we're tied at 24. And foot fault regardless, that one went under the net. As the Beavers get it back up by 1, 25-24. Nelson enters in for Pierre. And it'll be Nelson back to serve. The back received out by Shabril, right back to the Beaver side. Center back to the Lancer side. Shabril right there. 5-7 up center for Curran. Good touch. Sent to the back. Roth is there. Back to the Beaver side. Diving attempt sends a line drive to the floor. And once again, we're tied at 25. Shabril back to serve. Good spot, lunging save. Sets one back close to the net, and he'll just tap it over. Diving save from Miller off the nets, and can't be saved by Shabril. The Beavers once again go back up by 1, 26-25. Smith will enter in for Wolf, and it'll be Brown back to serve. Received out by Pfeiffer, back to the Beavers side. Miscommunication, that one will drop down in between a few Beavers. Ties it up now at 26. And now Curran back to serve for the Lancers. Receive tie center, trying to tip one up and over Will. Pfeiffer gonna send one right back. Receive cleanly and set across. Down to the back line and gonna drop one down. Good spot for Hansen, and another chance for the Beavers to take the second set here. Back to do it will be Reese. the net. Ties it up at 27. The Lancers' chance to take the lead. Heading back to do it will be Nelson. Under that, going to go right back to the Beavers. Up by 1, 28-27. Pierre in for Nelson. And Hansen back to serve. The back, received high by Nelson. Set across for Roth over the net. Good spot to the back, sent back high. Bumped up, long way to go. Not going to make it there, into the net. And the Lancers have held strong in the last few points, going back and forth as they tie it up once again at 28. Now with Pfeiffer back to serve. Have yet to have a chance to take this set. See if they can get it here. Good spot on the run, close to the net, tipped into the net. And the Lancers now up by 1, 29-28. And it'll be Pfeiffer back to serve with a chance to take the set. Longest set the C team has had this year. Can they end it out? Pfeiffer to the back line. Tip back high. Close to the net, off the ceiling, and that'll do it! 30-28, the Lancers win it by 2. And they will head on to a winner-take-all third set to 25. After dropping the first set 25-11, takes the second one 30-28 by 2. We'll see you in 3 minutes for the third set. And we are back for the second set. Lancers dropping the first one by 14, 25-11. Take the second one in a thriller, 30-28 by 2 at the end. As the Beavers won the serve, and they will start out. Back to do it will be Nelson, as we are tied at 1 set apiece here into the third set. And Nelson will get us started. Received high in the back by Nelson. Now we're going to make it back to the Lancer side. Tipped right back. Williams will set one back center for Kern to the back line. Tip back high. Sends one back up and over. Nelson from the back will dig it up. Set up center for Kern again. Off her hands and into the net. Lancers go up by 1 to start us off. And heading back to serve for the Lancers will be Shabrel. To the back, received high. Gonna bump one across, and he'll just tap it over. Williams right there to get it. Gonna set one up center for Nelson. Good spot, sliding safe. And miscommunication. Nelson went for it late and ended up sending it into the shoulder of Reese. As the Lancers go up by 2-0. Lunging save. That one going to be tipped out of play. Off the hands of Childers and Wolf for a Lancer ace. Putting them up by 3. Lancers trying to keep momentum going from last set. So far doing a good job as they've come out to a 3-0 lead early. Back row, long way to go. Going to tap it over. Lunging save. Sent back for Nelson over the net. Bumped across far side for Brown to the back line. Now we're going to drop down as the Beavers break the quick 3-0 run, bringing it back within 2. As Brown will head back to serve. And Smith will let her in for Wolf. To the back, Siebert misjudged it, ended up bouncing off her hands to the floor for a Beaver ace as they bring it back within 1, 3-2. To the back corner off the hands of Nelson to the floor, back-to-back aces for the Beavers. And they go on a 3-0 run on their own to tie this one up. Received high by Nelson, off into the bleachers. As now 3 straight aces for the Beavers, puts them up by 1, 4-3. High to the back, received by Williams. Nelson will send one back up, and it'll be tapped to the back line. Back up close to the net, trying to tap it over, ends up going into the net. As 4 hits on the Beavers, ties this one up at 4, with Miller entering in for Siebert. And it'll be Kern back to serve for the Lancers. Trying to retake a lead here in the third set. Now we're going to come up short as the Beavers go up by 1, 5-4. And it'll be Reese back to serve for the Beavers. And she'll switch sides as Pierre enters in for Nelson. Into the net, and we're tied back up at 5. Schmidt and Roth will enter in for Nelson and Nelson. And it'll be Schmidt back to serve for the Lancers. Keep to the back, running save. Going to set one back up center on a standstill. Running save by Kern through the hands of Williams. And the Beavers go right back up by 1, 6-5. And it'll be Hansen back to serve for the Beavers. Off the net, now to play as the game ties back up at 6. Pfeiffer in for Shabrel. And it'll be Williams back to serve. But fault regardless, that's going into the net. And the Beavers retake a 1-point lead, 7-6. And number 13, Wolf, will head back to serve. The back offense of Kern to the floor as the Beavers knock down an ace.
And go up by 1, 8-6.
Now to play down the sideline. Going to go back to the Lancers as they bring it back within 1, 8-7. And now Miller back to serve for the Lancers. Good spot, running safe out of the ceiling, won't touch, set back. And he'll go ahead and just be bumped over. Schmidt right there to get it. Miller will send one back high and touched over by Pfeiffer. Set back middle. Tip at the net, running save by Miller back to the Beaver side. Close to that, going to be touched back, but into the net as the Lancers now tied at 8. And now Miller a chance to give the Lancers a lead. That one comes up short. The Beavers maintain a 1-point lead, 9-8, as they will head back with a chance for double digits. The back line, Schmidt will send one across, back in the air from Williams. Pfeiffer to the back line, sent back high. Across far side for Brown and into the net. 9-9 as the Lancers will have another chance to take a lead as Nelson enters in for Roth. Nelson in for Schmid with number 3, Nelson, back to serve. Dug up on the side, miscommunication, gonna bump one across, but on to play as the Lancers take a 1-point lead, 10-9. This one comes up short by Nelson. As the Beavers now tied up at 10, with Nelson for the Beavers entering in to serve. The back corner, Nelson right there, gonna get it back over, set right back, and miscommunication as Siebert and Kern collide, putting the Beavers up by 1, 11-10. On the sideline, offensive Siebert. Nelson are going to send one across, but out of play. As the Beavers now go up by 2, 12-10. Offensive Pfeiffer, a line drive into the net. Right back to the floor as the Beavers go up by 3, 13-10. And Nelson's still going strong, trying to give him a lead here toward the middle of the third set. Off the hands of Pfeiffer, out of play for another ace. Now up by 4, 14-10. And a timeout by the Lancers. Tied at 1 set apiece here in the third set. Lancers down by 4, 14-10. Communication as they collide ends up dropping down off the hands of Hansen. As the Lancers bring it back within 3, 14-11. Shaber will enter in for Pfeiffer, and it'll be Shaber back to serve. Good spot, diving save back into the net. An ace for Shaber brings them back within 2. Off the top of the net, going back to the Beavers as they go right back up by 3. As Smith will enter in for Wolf. And Brown will head back to serve. Lofted out of the back. Steve will run up to get it. Shaber will set it back for Nelson. Good spot from Nelson on a lunging save. Tip back up and over. Nelson right there to get it. Close to the nets. Can't be touched over by Shaber as the Beavers go back up by 4, 16-12. Back line, out of play. Bringing the Lancers back within 3, 16-13. Miller will enter in for Siebert. And it'll be Kern back to serve. Good spot, sliding save out of play. An ace for Kern, bringing the Lancers back within 2. 16-14, as number 14, Kern will head back to serve once again, fresh off the first ace. Looking for more here. Off the top of the net, bringing the Beavers back up by 3. And now Reese back to serve. Received high by Miller. Nelson backs up to send one up for Williams. Williams will send one down the line. Gonna go cross court, close to the net, tipped off the net, but in the net was Hansen. Lancers bring it back within 2, 17-15. As Schmid enters in for Nelson, and Roth in for number 3 Nelson as well. And it'll be Schmid heading back to serve. Good spot, dropping down an ace off the hands of Smith. Lancers now within 1 with a chance to tie. Good spot, diving save off the net, back-to-back aces for Schmid. We're tied at 17 and a timeout by the Beavers. Back from the timeout, 17-17. Schmid with back-to-back aces, looking to take a lead here for the Lancers. And that one going to come up short as the Beavers take back a 1-point lead, 18-17. And now Hansen back to serve. Back line. Williams gonna let it go, and that one ends up dropping down as a Beavers ace brings them back within 2, 19-17. Good spot, dug up by Kern. Miller will send one back for Roth. Roth to the corner, lunging save close to the net. And that'll be a lift, regardless that ended up being blocked by Miller. As the Lancers bring it back within 1, 19-18. That one comes up short, gonna give it back to the Beavers as they bring it back within 2, 22-18. With Smith exiting and Wolf re-entering. And she'll head back to serve as well. Issues for the Lancers now as they'll try to get that sorted out. The back line off the face of Kern and out of play. An ace for the Beavers puts them up by 3, 21-18. Spot received top by Schmid. Williams will send one back high close to the net. Miscommunication. That one drops down as the Beavers go up by 4, 22-18. Into the net, getting it back to the Lancers now within 3, 22-19. And it'll be Miller back to serve for the Lancers. Miller sends one right into the net. Puts the Beavers back up by 4, 23-19 as Seabit enters in for Miller. And it'll be Childers back to serve. Out of the back, received by Schmid. Seabit sends a line drive. Kern will bump one back up and over. Set up center. Good spot. Lunging save by Seabit. Sent back up close to the net. They're going to be tapped over. Seabit on the run. Can't get it back in the air. As the Beavers go up by 5 and are now just 1 point away from taking the third set. 24-19. Down the line, running save from Schmid. Bumped back up, close to the net. Onto the Beaver side and back into the net by Reese. And Lancers going to get one last chance, 24-20. With Roth back to serve, going to need 4 straight to keep this one going. As Nelson enters in for Schmid. High to the back, received cleanly center. Set back across, good touch to the back. Roth right there to get it. Line drive off into the net. And that'll do it. 25-20. The Beavers win the final set by 5 as they take it 2-1 after winning the first set 25-11. Dropping the second 30-28, but end up pulling out in the end by 5, 25-20. And we'll be back live in a few moments. JV going to start up at around 6 for the big varsity game coming up at about 7:15. And band at 7. Lancers C team drop it in 3, 2-1.